Hey guys, welcome back to 7 of What If Deku Had the Omnitrix. Sorry for not posting in a while, but, because I have so many ideas and I just want to do them, but I have to finish this. I plan on finishing this one, and then, after Season 5 is done, I think I'll make new What Ifs about, Season 5. And then I want to finish my Miles Morales one, because some people are probably waiting. And I know I canceled my What If Deku Had Overhaul, but I think I might continue it. But let's continue. Where we last left off, basically, Kachan still got captured. Tokiyami didn't get captured. I'm just gonna say that. You know, basically, Vilgax invaded the the gnome. I don't remember if I said Vilgax and the League of Villains were working together, so I'm gonna go check. Okay, I'm back. Vilgax is with them, and a small mistake I made last part was when before Midori got knocked out, he said Kachan, and I just realized that Midori never met Muscular, so Muscular never told Midoriya about this. So right now I'll just be wrapping up what happens. So basically, uh, since, I don't remember, basically, the night would end basically the same as Muscular would have been defeated, as basically, Muscular would have been defeated, and, people would just be wondering who defeated him. It couldn't have been Midoriya, because he wasn't there. Now, at the end, the police report would say that there were lots of students hurt, lots of students poisoned, and then there were 2 students missing, as um, Todoroki, Dark Shadow, and Todoroki. I'm sorry, I always get that him confused, because I feel like his quirk is like, I don't even know I forget his name sometimes. I just remember his quirk. Anyway, Todoroki, Shoji, and and I just did it again. Todoroki, Shoji, and Tokoyami would have said that the League of Villains would have captured Bakugo. As for Midoriya, Momo, and Awayose, which is that dude from Class 1A name, they would have said that they saw Midoriya fighting with the Nomu, but then Odase would have said while walking away he saw this green man appear, as 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 basically Midori, as the plumbers would also come to inspect, because they had seen they had seen these robots, and they had just come to inspect the robots, as they would have Max would have said this is Vilgax's robot. These are Vilgax's robots. As they would say, yeah. As basically Ben would be mad as he'd punch a wall. Damn it. You know, we could have done something. There's nothing we can do now, sport. So, you know the drill. As basically Midoriya would wake up in a holding cell with both of his arms like a cross shape, as he tried to struggle. He'd struggle and struggle. A few minutes would go by as the door would open. Good, you're awake, Vilgax would say, as he'd walk to the table next to Midoriya. As Midoriya would be like, where am I? What did you do to me? As Vilgax would say, you're on my ship, and I haven't done anything yet. As Midoriya would be like, what are you gonna do to me? Vilgax would say, you should be grateful. I know how much you care about this device, so I wanted you to be awake when I stripped it away from you, to have your final moments together. Midoriya would be like, let go of me. Let's have a one-on-one fight. As Vilgax would say, we already did. You lost. And personally, I'm not a fan of rematches, he'd say. As Midoriya would be like, you're just evil. I will become a hero and stop you. As Vilgax would say, how are you gonna do it? Anyway, I'm tired of your talking. Let me just take the device right now. I have the universe. I have things to do and planets to enslave. He'd say, as Vilgax would say, this might hurt a little. As Vilgax would touch the omnitrix, as he'd start touching buttons, as the omnitrix would start to flash green, as Vilgax would wonder what is happening, as the omnitrix would shock Vilgax, sending him right into the wall. As Vilgax would get up, as Midoriya would be like, yeah, Grandpa Max told me this was happening. It's stuck to my DNA. It's attached to my DNA. You won't be removing it. As Vilgax would say, that's only a temporary device. That's only a temporary thing. As basically, Vilgax, basically, Vilgax, sorry, as Vilgax would say, I'll be back in a few minutes with the necessary device. As Deku would be like, oh shoot, I gotta get out of here. As meanwhile, at the plumber's base, the plumbers would have picked up on the Omnitrix symbol, as they do track Midoriya in case in case he's hurt. They do track Midoriya as they see it. Now, it would be too much time to send a big group, so they would just send a small group. They would send Lucky Girl, Kevin, and Ben. Those are the only three. I like Rook, but I want to do with the original big three, okay? As they would get on on the plumber's fastest ship, and they would fly right up to Vilgax's ship, as they would land stealthily using a cloaking device. As they'd see, like guards, as Kevin would just proceed to knock one of them out. As the alarm would start, as Gwen would be like, Kevin, as Kevin would say, sorry, as it'd be like code 2 intruder alert. As Vilgax would enter, as he'd say, so your friends, so it looks like your friends have entered the ship to save you, huh? As Deku would be squirming and trying to move around. As basically Ben, Kevin, and Gwen would have made it to the control room, as they would look in the cameras as they see Vilgax like performing some sort of procedure on the Omnitrix, as they would say they had to get there before it was too late. As basically uh, they would have to fight their way as they'd enter the room, but it was too late. Deku was Omnitrix-less, and Vilgax had the Omnitrix. Vilgax would say, you're too late. Ha 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 ha. As he'd laugh, as he'd say, the universe is mine to control. As Deku would say, hey, secret code name, All Might. Wait, actually, that would actually be a bad name. Secret code name, Bakugo, he'd say. As the army would be like, code name accepted, going into self-destruct mode. As Deku would say, it might not be the most heroic, but if I can stop you from using the Omnitrix to enslave the universe, then I'd die happy. As Vilgax would grab Deku by the throat, as he'd say, undo it right now. As Deku would laugh, as Vilgax would say, damn you, as Ben would shoot an energy beam at Deku. Not Deku, at Vilgax. As Vilgax would sort of be unconscious, as Bell, not unconscious, but like, then Kevin and Gwen would rush Vilgax as they start attacking, but Vilgax would be defending himself. And Vilgax would try to transform with the Omnitrix, but it wasn't working. And out of anger, Vilgax would slam the ground, creating a shockwave, as as Gwen would basically say a spell, as this spell was sort of an illusion, as they'd grab Ben as they'd go out the way. As basically Vilgax would wake up from the illusion as Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and Deku had just left the ship. As it would have been like self-destruct. Damn it, he'd say, as the ship would be self-destruct. Pew, pew, pew. As basically Vilgax's ship would be destroyed and Vilgax's armies would be done. And basically the ship would just be exploded, basically. It'd be gone. Meanwhile, All Might had just beat All For One. All Might had just beat All For One at this time point, as they would land onto the ground. As they'd land as Ben, they'd all be quiet as Ben would tell Gwen and Kevin to give him Midoriya some time. As Ben would say, you blew up the Omnitrix. As Deku would say, it was needed. Ben, now my dreams of being a hero is done. As Midoriya, as basically Ben would say, but you are a hero. At least that works for it. Maybe you could still be one. As Ben would say, yeah, maybe. Meanwhile, Grandpa Max would actually call Deku and Ben into the plumber's agency as Deku basically Deku's dad would have called Deku's mom telling him that Deku was okay and stuff as Deku the Inko would stop worrying. Okay, that's one thing. As Deku would enter the room as Deku's dad and Grandpa Max would be there as Deku would be like, Dad, what are you doing here? I thought you were stationed in a random galaxy. As Deku's dad would be like, I was. But then I ran into an old friend of mine who who asked me about you and wanted to see you. As basically Deku's dad would move as out of the way. It would be Azimuth as Deku would be a gray matter. As Azimuth would be no, I'm a Galvin. My name is Azimuth. You might know me as the smartest being in this or the next or two more other galaxies, but I'm the creator of the Omnitrix because Bell would actually like bow, kneel, he wouldn't know what to do, as Adams would say there was no need for that. As Adams would say that he was proud what Bell was doing. He was proud what Deku was doing. As Deku would say, sorry, I destroyed the Omnitrix. As he'd be like, what? You destroyed the Omnitrix? As he'd say, well, that was the prototype. Follow me, he'd say, as you know, Deku would be like, what? As Adams would say, I said, follow me. Or do you not want the finished Omnitrix? As Deku would get up, as he'd say, yes, sir. As, Deku would be walking, as, Grandpa Max would say, go get it, sport. As, Deku's dad would be like, you earned this, Midoriya. As Deku would follow Asden through a portal as they'd be on Galvin Prime. As Deku would walk through as Azimuth through the lab, as Azimuth would tell Deku not to touch anything, as Deku would say sorry, it all looks so cool. As Azimuth would actually press the button as like shuttle or like a what the Omnitrix came in the original version? Yeah, that would pop up as Deku as Azimuth would open the Omnitrix as he give Deku the new Omnitrix. It's the Omniverse Omnitrix. As he'd say basically, here you go, there are some new features, but you'll find them out along the way. As Deku would say, wait, sir, are you sure I'm worthy? As Azimuth would say, kid, I've been watching you. I was even watching you at the sports festival, you know. Deku would be like, wait, that was you? As Azimuth would be like, yes. I'm kind of disappointed that you lost, but I can prove you as a worthy soul. The fact that you were willing to blow up the Omnitrix, your only chance at becoming a hero, shows that you were worthy. Now you are worthy, and now take it and leave. as Deku would be like, thank you, thank you, thank you, but Azimuth would teleport Deku away. Basically, Deku would appear right in his room, as Inko would hear a thud as she'd run in saying, Midoriya? As she'd hug Midoriya, she'd say, I'm so worried. As Deku would hug his mom and he'd be like, it's okay, Mom, I'm okay. As basically, Inko would tell Midoriya about Hasashi calling her, and she would want Midoriya to tell her everything about what happened. And Midoriya would say, yeah. As Midoriya would just tell her about the camp and stuff. And while just talking, Inko would get a notification on her phone as they talk about moving into dorms. As Inko would say, do you still want to go to UA? As Midoriya would be like, yeah. As Inko would be like, I'm not sure about that. But Midoriya would be like, I want to go to UA, Mom. It's the right school for me. As Inko would say, well, you are the son of a magister, so I guess I will allow it. As Inko would say, I should probably call the school and say that you're okay. Right. As Inko would call Principal Nezu, because Principal Nezu gave, I'm pretty sure principals give, like, everybody their phone numbers. As Inko would just call Principal Nezu, as Inko would be like, this is Inko Midoriya. As Principal Nezu would start with apologizing, but Inko would say her son was right here, as she's okay. Basically, yeah. Meanwhile, I'm gonna stop this when they're training ultimate moves. Meanwhile, meanwhile, basically, the next few days, Zawa and All Might would actually come into Deku's house, as you know, they'd be shocked that All Might was there and stuff. But basically, Ingo would just say, yeah, he could move in and stuff, and she knows her son can handle herself, and they just move in. Now, Deku's room would be the same as the original. Well, yeah, Deku's room would be the same as the original, basically. And this is just a filler episode, so skip this. And we're going to start the thing. We're going to start the what's it called? The the super move creation. Now, during that night, Deku would have wanted to sneak out, as Deku would have to go for a walk. As he'd go to, like, Gym Gamma, as Deku wanted to test his new omnitrix. He didn't want to test it in front of everybody, in case they got suspicious. Like, did he not know how to use his own power anymore? You know? Anyway, Deku would see that the omnitrix it didn't work on, like, a hologram anymore. It worked on, like, a thing where you could, like, slide your finger. As Deku would be sliding as he'd notice some new aliens he'd never seen before, such as he'd notice, like, aliens like Armadillo, Terraspin, Water Hazard,